Hey everyone, and welcome to our video of the second stage of our second season of the Timeline Park Contest. Now, this video is a little bit overdue. I'll try to do the next one a little bit sooner. Anyway, in this video I will show you all the parks that were made for stage 2 of the Timeline Park Contest, and I will read out their stories. So, let's begin with the first one. Alright, the first park is from 737337. And the story goes like this. It will be made incredibly clear to Discord why the first coaster is a giant flaming railgun powered by the Atlantean water. That's why the Atlanteans are at war with the Anunnaki. The water ride will be a jest towards the root construct. Why are the Atlanteans staring it down? Because the armistice is not healthy and are superior and modern compared to the ancient manipulators. What will happen next? Alright, now this is quite a different map from all the other entries. Of course, it's in 737's typical style. Now, I found this story quite confusing, to be honest. Some kind of story of a war between aliens of some sort. Now, while it does look quite nice, you can really only see it when zoomed out, because the game doesn't allow me to scroll more to the top left. So it may be worth increasing the map size a bit, so we are able to admire every part of the map. Alright, the next entry is from Bags, 1958, the giant blob from outer space in 3D. The last B movie from Poverty Row Studios starred an environmental activist who joins the war. He suddenly put a highly endangered panda on the battlefield. This unexpected emergence of a dancing panda in the middle of no man's land had startled both armies and all ceased fire. The sky cleared up and the armistice was signed. This plot twist was so bizarre that people just had to visit the drive-in at Poverty Row Studios to see it with their own eyes. With the extra income, the studio purchased stereo cameras. By looking at stereoscopic images with anaglyphic glasses, where one glass is blue and the other is red, three-dimensional images are rendered. This 3D filmmaking was the answer to keep the crowds coming to cinemas after television was introduced in many households in the 1950s. The 3D movies can desynchronize rapidly, and therefore Poverty Row Studios has decided to build a new publicly accessible cinema and move the Hop Farm. Additionally, a train station was built, so guests without a car are able to access the cinema as well. The first 3D B movie from Poverty Row Studios shows the invasion of Earth by aliens. Unidentified flying objects were circulating around the field at night, making crop circles. Meanwhile, a giant blob from outer space came down from the sky to consume mankind. The closer encounter had panicked everyone nearby, although some ignorant bystander gave their new alien overlords a warm welcome. In the end, the police inspected the scene and fined the giant blob from outer space for wrongfully parking their vehicle, and the UFOs were arrested for violating the speed limits. As aliens could not pay the fine nor provide a valid ID card, they all got arrested. In the upcoming trial, the aliens were condemned to a lifetime imprisonment in the mysterious location known as Area 51. Another memorable B-movie was born. Now, I love seeing Bags' entry evolve, and all these movie ideas. I think they're really cool. We can see the blob from outer space here. Here's a dummy. So I assume this is like the film set. Yeah, I think it's just hilarious seeing all these or reading all these crazy movie ideas in the story. Really a funny entry and great looking entry as well from Bags. Okay, the next story is from Kazulius. Rise and shine, welcome back to Sunny Side Up on DKMP 98.7, where we bring you local news and try to make it positive, so you start your day off right. I'm your host, Mike Riffone. Today we're turning the clock back to 1 year ago, when the winner was announced for the rides to Beaver Island. To tell us more about it, we have our Winner on Air Day. Take it away, Freddy. Thanks, Mike. It's definitely been a rollercoaster of a year with ups and downs and unexpected twists, But things are now on the up and up, like our first coaster, Beaver Tail, a homage to the island. I like what you did there, Freddy. Can you tell us about your vision for the island and any teasers for upcoming attractions? I've heard rumbles about a crew laying some groundwork for a water ride. I don't want to give much away, but yes, we are working on a new themed area, with the main feature being a water ride. We have also hired top chef Lynn Gwynny, who will be in charge of a fresh new menu for our first official restaurant on the island. Now, that's a vision for Beaver Island. With a few minutes left, is there anything else you want our listeners to know about your exciting project? I definitely have some exciting prospects for the future. Some developments I'm sure the lovely people of Cordis would be happy to know. Our monumental lighthouse has been restored and converted into a functional ice cream shop. People of Cordis are still able to walk the trails of Beaver Island at no cost, and they can now finish their trip with some refreshing ice cream. Thank you, Freddy, for coming on today and sharing some info about Beaver Island Park. Thanks for having me on today, Mike. Alright, listeners, hopefully you get to visit this park in the near future. There seems to be many exciting developments. Have a great day and keep that glass half full. I really like the way that Kazulius does the stories for his parks. So they're kind of in the form of a radio show. That may be a little bit difficult to distinguish between the different narrators as I'm reading the story. Maybe next time I'll read out the name in front of every line. But yeah, definitely it's going to be interesting to see this park evolve. It looks really nice. I love all the details that Kazulius is putting here. Alright, and the next story is from Delta Aklut. Welcome back to Wolf River Park for the opening weekend of the 1987 season. We've made some improvements to the park since our opening 3 years ago, including last year's Midway Arcade. Most notably, we're proud to debut the Wolf River Mine Train, a brand new aerodynamics mine train and our first permanent roller coaster. Be sure to check it out and enjoy your visit. Alright, Delta Aklut Park is evolving nicely. Now, there are a lot of coasters in this park already. It might be a good idea to think of adding some other rides, like water rides, or maybe some more thrill rides, or other tracked rides. Or else it will just be a park like my original Mega Park that's just filled with an insane amount of roller coasters. Or maybe that's something that you're going for, I don't know. Alright, the next story is from Edgy. Day 50. Business is still doing good, but I have a bit of a concern. I see some ugly looking pirates chopping wood at my left, and I think they are building houses or something. They are also making a bigger building. I just hope they are not going to let people sleep in those houses or make a pub like mine, because I will lose customers then. Day 62. Oh my barrel, you gotta be kidding me, I was right. They are building a pub, and I think they are gonna rent the houses. I have to do something to attract more pirates than they do, because if I don't do that, I won't know if someone's going to look for my treasure, so I'm going to think for a while to come up with a plan. Day 69. Nice, I have an idea. I heard some guys talking yesterday about how they miss the waves when they are on land, so I'm going to put seats on rails with waves in the middle. One of my brothers pushes the thing around. This will surely get more people to my pub. Let's go to work. Day 81. Well, it is finally finished, but there are more problems, because those ugly guys are also making things to entertain their guests. They put a ship on a swing and push it every time it comes by, so it goes higher and higher every time. They also tamed some wild horses for pirates to ride on. But that is not it. There are some kids who parked their ship right next to the entrance of the bay. How this big of a ship got is a mystery for me. I think the maker of this timeline park did not think this through. There's also this guy on my right, but I have no clue what he is doing. I have to do something, and I already have a plan. Day 100. It is finished. I made rails going down the cliff. It gives a funny feeling in your stomach when going down. Because it rolls down and ends at the coast, I call it a roller coaster. It's a shame that I had to hire some guys for pushing it up all the time though. I hope there will be something that can help me with that in the future. Okay, I think Edgy has a nice way of doing the stories for his park. So it kind of reads like a diary from a pirate who established one of these parks. And now he actually has some neighbors on the other side who are apparently also making a park. So it kind of gives me the vibes from Fitwell's park in last season, where he had two competing parks really close to each other. So yeah, definitely going to be fun to see these parks evolve. Okay, then the next story from Electric. Gold's Island theme park is a minor success, but needs more rides to bring in more money to help fund his treasure hunting, to in turn pay for his cryptozoological research. He adds a self-built boat ride along the sea life-rich western edge of the island, both to entertain his guests and to help him better search the waters there. And the addition of a drop tower adds some thrills while also helping him survey the area. Alright, yeah, it's also nice seeing Electric's park grow. I believe he jumped in a bit later, but it's nice to see him catch up in stage 2. Yeah, the park looks a little bit chaotic, so maybe it will be a good idea to make it look a little bit more clean. But overall, I think it's a fun-looking park for sure. Definitely has a lot going on over here. Okay, then the next story is from Fitwell. Commander Edwin Collins Log, mission date 564.12 ALS. Our crew has had a stroke of luck. Our research expeditions have discovered a source of surface water. We have been able to amend our life support system with a makeshift purification plant. The cargo we brought with us has been perfect for building a transport system to bring the water and other supplies from the source to the ship. Meanwhile, since the ship itself is no longer able to fly, we have been busy converting it into a biodome of sorts, where we can live more comfortably. Solar power has been easy to come by, but generating enough oxygen may prove problematic. Still, morale is high. Our communication systems have been picking up faint signals. We can only hope our SOS has been heard by someone out there who can rescue us. In the meantime, we can only hope the only life we encounter on this planet remains of the vegetative sort. Now, in round 1 we had 3 space-themed entries. This round we only have 1 of them remaining. But yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. It's a really nice story, I think. And it definitely makes you wonder what's going to happen in the next stage. So yeah, definitely this is definitely an entry to keep your eye on. Alright, the next story is from Greenfielder. While the air show continued to be postponed due to pandemic conditions, the Redwoods purchased a Huss topspin from showman Rudolf Barth. While Tide Roller sets rollover records in front of the soon-to-open administration district, Swiss manufacturer Polygon Mabiard has already delivered the first parts of track and coaster trains. With so many LSM track elements, one wonders if there will be a prototype of a new B&M launch coaster. Guests can find out in the brand new VR experience, a first-class preview of what is to come soon. Alright, Greenfielder once again submitted an entry just in time. And yeah, I think this is a really good looking entry. I love seeing this old airport evolve. And it's fun that he's actually slowly expanding the visible area of the park. And I think this new B&M is definitely something to look forward to. Except these trains look really long. So I don't know what the plan is with that. Okay, then the next story is from Herbert. The humble start of the park resonated reasonably well with the customers. With this, Rampage convinced 2 of his former teammates, Koga and Buexi, to join in. They started building the first themed area, but while clearing the forest for the buildings and attractions, the construction workers noticed something terrible. Rampage had chosen the bush Tunis Tauneris as decoration for the new park. The problem was that this bush is known to quickly overwhelm the local flora and spread like crazy, so they had to pause construction for several weeks, searching the whole island for traces of Tunis Tauneris. Luckily, the gardening business Cedrat Inc. was able to help them, and together they weeded out all bushes. At least that's what they hoped. After having done that, they opened the first big themed area of the park, which was considerably bigger and with the money of 2 people more detailed than the first part of the park, containing both the first water ride and the most thrilling ride of the park thus far. After barreling through the jungle and the first crumblings, Donkey Kong arrived at the giant temple area. There he was attacked by more crumblings, snake and hamsters riding around in millstones. After battling through all of that, he finally found Diddy Kong and some bananas. But still, the biggest part of their horde was somewhere else. Together the duo moved to further explore the island and try to undo the mischief the crumblings caused. Alright, the entry from Herbert. I think it's also a really nice addition that he made to this park here. What I thought was funny that is in stage 1 he actually used a plant that was not allowed because it's custom scenery. So he actually worked that into his story. So I think that was quite funny. So I think the Donkey Kong theme is quite fun. I loved playing Donkey Kong as a kid. And I can definitely see some of the semblance with some of the temple levels that the game had. Okay, the next story is from Jazzen, 1993 to 95, a growing success. After a surprisingly great first season, park owner Michael Spangsberg felt ready to expand. In the following 3 seasons he adds several key attractions. In 93, the park opens its first roller coaster, Hundebrutterutschebanen, also known as the Dog Fart Coaster. The year after, a swing ride named Den Skøre Skildpadde sees daylight, and the Crazy Turtle is a big hit. Finally, in 1995, a massive investment was made. The heavily themed log flume, themed to sewer rats, Van Rotten, introduced a whole new level of bonbon magic, with several animatronics and funny scenes. In between these 3 key attractions, several other rides and activities are offered to the guests. A few carousels, a car ride for the kids, a goat petting zoo, dozens of self-operated rides, a Native American trail and a new cowboy town are just some of the things guests can now enjoy. A new pond offers even more Andamans board for the guests to sail around in, and a monorail cycle named Moge Kletterne also provides a new view of the park for the visitors. Themed to seagull dumps, this ride also instantly becomes a hit. A few restaurants were also opened, primarily offering good old Danish fast food. To deal with occasionally bad weather, a few tents would provide different experiences. One with a massive playground inside, another with the world famous Circus Slam doing their circus thing. Michael Spangsberg also decides to move the candy workshop to a new spot in the park, where guests can get free samples and watch the delicious candy being made. In 1995, close to 400,000 people visit the park, and Bonbon Land slowly turns into a must-visit place during the summer season in Denmark. Fun fact, when entering Bonbon Land, everybody is offered a free bonbon cap and lollipop sticks that can be used for do-it-yourself lollipops in the candy workshop. Now, I think Jazzen has a really fun theme with this recreation of Bonbon Land. It's a park which I haven't been to myself yet, but seeing all these wacky creations really makes me want to go there. I love all these creations that he made here, like I believe if I can find it, there's the dog fart roller coaster, so it looks like a dog that's taking a dump here. And this log flume is also a really nice addition, and definitely makes me excited for the real one. Alright, the next one is from Memesrct, Mortal Kombat in Paradise. After the major success for Tropical Bay's first season of operation, Bolliger and Mabillard finally comes up with a plan to make their amusement park into a theme park resort destination for thrill seekers, roller coaster and theme park enthusiasts' bucket list, when they have plans to travel and visit this very popular theme park resort. Tropical Bay Amusement Park was renamed to Tropical Bay Theme Park Resort during the general park announcement that B&M will build the park's first themed area that will take some inspiration from Chinese temples and cultures in Beijing, China, and will be named Chinatown. It will include one new family roller coaster, manufactured by the park's owner with their own family inverted model, and the layout will be compact for the whole family to enjoy. The coaster's name will be named Samurai's Revenge, for families to take a flight through what people feel like when they live in China while being chased by an evil samurai. Also, B&M gave us a call for not one but 2 new thrill rides to be built along with the new Chinatown themed area. Both rides were themed to Chinese cultures and named the Enterprise Flat Ride Firecracker, and the other inspired by the discontinued ride model Ranger, themed and named Chinese Junk Ship. In a meanwhile, the new entertainment has been announced to offer guests to stay after the park closes for every operating night to keep guests entertained at the new Tropical Bay's Boardwalk City. Rumors started to speculate whether or not Tropical Bay will have the permission from Warner Bros. To use the Mortal Kombat IP for the whole area instead of Chinatown. Tropical Bay added 3 new rides themed to the new Mortal Kombat themed area for Mortal Kombat fans to enjoy. Now, I think this new area that Memesrct created here is a really fun one. The story is a little bit difficult to follow sometimes. You definitely want to probably use some more interpunction in your story. Maybe cut up the different lines a little bit more to make it a little bit easier to follow. Oh, well, this area is really nice. I think the parking lot doesn't really make sense because the cars are just endlessly going around in circles without any cars actually parking here. So that probably could be improved a little bit. I do really like this new bay area. This looks really nice. Okay, the next story is from Nova. As John sees the great success of his park, he is thinking what he should give the guests this month. He immediately thought about the junior coaster, but he didn't want to theme it to something that there already was in the area. Being inspired by the Jungfrau Park in Interlaken and the Eric from Daniken stories being told there, he knew he wanted to further develop his park. Theming the front park area to the Mayas and getting a whole new cinema telling the story, John hopes he can attract more and more people in the future. Okay, I think Nova did quite a nice addition here with this Mayan themed coaster. Also some more Mayan themed buildings over here. Probably like a motion simulator or a 3D cinema. But I think these are quite nice additions to the park. Although maybe also the foliage could be a little bit more in line with these Mayan temples. So probably some trees and stuff that you would also find in South America could be nice to complement the theme a little bit more. Alright, the next story is from Old School. McBride's Fun Fair has been a great success, and with the profits rolling in, the ambitious owner looked towards expansion. First step would be purchasing and demolishing the derelict tenement buildings south of the park. With this new space, the fair's first roller coaster, the Encore, a Vekoma boomerang that had originally been seen at the 1988 Garden Festival, and a new motion simulator ride, along with a relocated car park and transforming may of the temporary structures into more permanent buildings. The fair was all set for seasons to come. Also during this time, McBride hired his wife Elizabeth, a keen gardener, to take charge of improving the look of the fair. Elizabeth hired a small team of gardeners and began filling the area with plants and greenery, much to the delight of visitors. While the McBrides were enjoying their success, one issue that kept coming up was that a large number of visitors regularly overflowed the fair's car park, clogging the surrounding streets and leading to many complaints. Also during this time, the city finally began construction of the long-planned bridge connecting the lower Clydeside Road to the quay to the west of the McBride's Fun Fair. 92 is said to be another bumper year for the McBrides, but with the UK theme park industry rapidly changing, major additions will be needed in the years ahead. Now, I love this entry. What I probably love most is actually all these cars that are parking here on the road. It's probably something you'll see quite often in especially in Britain, at areas where there's not enough parking, like football stadiums and stuff, where cars will all park in the neighboring areas. One thing that confused me a little bit is that these cars over here seem to be driving on the right, and over here the cars all seem to be driving on the left, or well, parking on the left, I should say. So maybe that's something to look into. But yeah, overall this park just looks beautiful, and the coaster is a great addition to the park. Okay, the next story is from OpenRCT2. John had penny pinched the guests for months to get enough money to buy a coaster. He will take everything Michael didn't help by buying a small merry-go-round. In words spoken by him, the people won't go to the park if they already saw the tigers, watch the circus and ride the twist. We need something new periodically, even if the thing is small enough. Bad quality all around. John strongly disagreed as he wanted less rides with better potential like a coaster, so he bought a traveling coaster called the Outlaw Celt. Almost all the theming except for the station in the park has its first coaster. Now, yeah, as you could probably hear in the story, the storytelling does leave a little bit to desired. Definitely needs some interpunction for the other people to be able to read it better, and for me to tell the story better in the videos. Yeah, as for the other decorations, well, you definitely don't want to put houses right here in the middle of a field of grass. You'll probably want to have them on a road or have some infrastructure around here. The same with these buildings over here. They're just blocks in the middle of grass, and this can definitely be very easily improved a lot. So yeah, I think there's a lot to gain in this park. Yeah, I do like that there's actually moving traffic. So this parking lot, I've actually made several nice tutorials on making good looking parking lots. I think you can do a lot better on this. Alright, the next story is from Adrian 1994. The year is 1928 and Wally Carr's Little Trolley Park has been a modest success and has started to put Scorpion Hill on the map. Since the park's opening, Wally has added a number of new exciting attractions to take the park to the next level. In addition to a brand new Ferris wheel and some new cafes and shops, a scenic alpine garden has been landscaped into the side of the hill, inspired by Wally's time touring around Europe. Additionally, he has also developed a miniature golf attraction on the hillside, following the explosion in popularity of minigolf over the last decade across America. However, the most impressive new addition by far has been the scenic railway roller coaster named Duck and Cover. After convincing his friend Woody Woodward to help cut down the trees around the ride's location, Wally and Woody teamed up to design this high-capacity family thrill ride, and they built it together in-house. The pair have agreed to split the ride's profit 50-50, and provided that Duck and Cover is a financial success, the duo plan to build another wooden roller coaster together in the future. After hearing about the legendary Crystal Beach Cyclone, Woody is keen to try his hand at designing and building a similarly gargantuan thrill ride, but Wally is keen to diversify the park's lineup in other ways. Alright, this park from Adrian 1994 is growing quite nicely. I think the landscaping in this park is great. The different rides in this park also fit really well. Love this coaster over here on the side of the hill. Nice Ferris wheel here. These buildings, I think they all look nice and quite in the same style. So yeah, definitely a really nice park to watch and to watch it grow. Yeah, I think all this stuff here just looks really great. And the next story is from Saffy Adams. In the last episode, we saw the opening of 3 rides on Mr. Saffy Adams' parents' farm property, which spans 100 acres, which still has freshly plowed fields of potatoes, plots for growing hay, and Genuine the pony galloping around in the front paddock. Oh, and a lawnmower cutting the side field. In this episode, some general improvements, addition of food stalls, and a brand new roller coaster. As you can see, a nice entrance sign was built along with a magical underground tunnel connected to it, so that guests don't have to cross the Windsor Road and risk getting hit by a car. A park info stand was also added, where guests can get complimentary park maps. One of the major complaints coming from guests was that there was nowhere to get food or something to drink. Mr. Saffy Adams reached out to the local potato farmers at Cavendish Farms and asked if they wanted to set up a fry stall, and they sprouted to the opportunity. This is a great way to feature local flavors at the park. Now, for something to drink, Mr. Saffy Adams has become a recent fan of the Scottish pop or soft drink Iron Brew, so he asked his friend Old School if he would manage an Iron Brew stall at Saffyton Farm. Old School said aye, of course. Now guests can enjoy hot fresh pie potato fries and wash it all down with a nice cold Iron Brew. Saffy Adams' uncle John Deere said that he was looking to add a big roller coaster to the park, but he was a little short on the cash. Since his uncle owns a Kubota farm equipment dealership, he offered to invest in the park, in return that the new roller coaster be sponsored by him as a means for advertising its Kubota farm equipment dealership. Since the guests loved watching the Kubota zero-turn lawnmower cut the side field, this was the perfect place to add the new roller coaster and the theme of it. Runaway Lawnmower by Kubota, the world's first roller coaster themed to a lawnmower. Don't fact check me on this. Alright, a really nice addition here from Saffy Adams. A lot of people really like this lawnmower that he made. So then he actually based a coaster on the lawnmower. So I think that's a really fun addition. The coaster does have a few issues. I think one of them is that the brakes probably should be set a little bit better. For example, you can see the coaster go around here, and here it just slams in the brakes, coming to almost a complete standstill. And over here in this last section it just really crawls. Don't know if that's on purpose, but that definitely could be handled a little bit better, I think. But yeah, I do think a coaster based on a lawnmower is a really fun addition. Okay, and then we have the story from Seahorse Gene. The Give Us Rekka Back GUSP has been in charge of the old mine location for a bit now, and they started with great excitement and plenty of ideas to transform the area into a green park. The old visitor center was their first project, and to keep costs at bay, they kept most of the existing structures and renovated them with more natural materials. The surroundings have received some TLC as well, and a friendly and inviting park has started to emerge. The first expansion has been realized by adding a small eco-coaster where the container storage used to be. GUSP thinks they can upcycle the big crane next to it by using it as a base for a new ride. So far it has been permanently secured to the ground and station foundations built. The water level has been rising over the last weeks, which is a normal occurrence at this time of the year. Only the old retaining wall under the bridge took a beating in the strong currents this time and gave way. Another reason why you should not try to control nature and let the flow go with the flow. GUSP was not fully surprised by this kind of damage due to the old unmaintained state of the wall. But it leaves them anxious about the near future, since the bridgehead has sustained critical damage from this flooding. Can they save the bridge? Alright, this new entry from Seahorse Gene, I think it's a really nice one. I think this coaster fits here quite nicely, and the park I think is also shaping up quite nicely. These buildings are starting to look better, and it's also fun seeing the environment change. I believe this river is a little bit higher than it used to be. So yeah, I wonder how this is going to evolve. Alright, the next story is from The Shack, and I'll try to read it in my best Orcish. West had the bestest idea before we thinks. The Yumis comes in the place and gets eated. Thus West Orcs make it the place more bigger. But the Yumis not come, so Grutznik said we needed it a fun thingy. He made it a big thing that goes up and then comes back down fast. The Yumis really like this. We're gonna keep putting in fun stuff so the Yumis can keep coming. Alright, I think the Shack did a nice addition here to his park. It is slightly glitchy here from some angles though, so that's probably something to watch out for. Now, I really like the style that he's going for, all these orcish style buildings. And I think the story is also quite funny, with it being in sort of like orc language. Yeah, I think this coaster is a really nice addition. Yeah, I don't know how big the Shack is planning on making this park, but if he keeps doing large additions like these, he may run out of space. I don't know. Yeah, it is nice to watch the park grow like this. Alright, the next story is from Tim22Z7. Timothy had slowly realized that he should have trusted his gut feeling about partnering with an insurance company. He realized he had made a grave mistake. You could say there are reasons why such a small insurer as Quigley Insurance had the money to partner with an amusement park. After Timothy had torn up part of the parking lot, he wanted to add a roller coaster to the park's lineup. He decided he wanted a small space-themed land, and he named the coaster Rocket. Timothy was originally going to buy a Vekoma SFC, but Quigley said that they were not willing to pay for such an expensive ride, and Timothy had to contact the Russian manufacturer PAX for the project instead. During production and transportation, a few pieces of track got banned, and because Quigley didn't want to expend even more money to buy new track, there was nothing else to do than install the banned track anyway. The park just marketed it as a trick track, and hoped that the real reason why it was banned wouldn't be leaked to the public. Not too long after this, a state inspector visited the park. They advised to heighten some of the fences around the Enterprise and the newly installed rocket, because they were afraid a guest might climb over those fences and hurt themselves. Once again, Quigley said that this would be too expensive and decided against installing new fencing. This wasn't the only issue Timothy was facing, however. The neighbors had filed a noise complaint with the local government against the new roller coaster, because they said their peace and quiet was being disturbed. They also threatened the park with legal action if the park didn't shut down the ride. You could say that Timothy's dream of running his own amusement park was slowly turning into a nightmare. Alright, Tim22C7's park is growing quite nicely on this small plot. I think this little coaster is a nice addition as well. We can now also see some cars parked next to this little park. Now, yeah, I do think the fences over here are a little bit on the small side. You'll probably want some chain link fences around an Enterprise, because this would be quite dangerous. Now, there's a lot of parking space over here. I think it would definitely be nice to have at least a few random cars parked here and there, especially near these shops, rather than just only having cars parked here next to this park. I think that would definitely make the entire plot come to life a little bit more. And something else which you could maybe do is have the guests who walk to the park also come from this side, for example, just to have a little bit more movement throughout the park. But yeah, overall, I think this park is definitely on the right track. Alright, we are nearing the end. Here's the story from Uno Reverser Coaster. Brent Collins was one of those people others would describe as bad with money. Not that he was steeped in debt or crashing Corvettes, to the contrary, Collins was actually a very successful businessman. A businessman who, in the minds of others, put his wealth into absurd things. Absurd things like a railroad. And that was how Brent found himself owning a ghost town. Determined to prove to his family and friends that he hadn't tossed millions into the gutter, he set out to realize his dream. The railroad tracks were relaid, the roads leading to the town improved, and the dying embers of the town started to glow bright once more. So it was that in 1971, the Cerro Plata narrow gauge railway was born. The town began to be restored, with the old town hall becoming a museum, and the cast iron cafe offering authentic chuck wagon meals. Slowly but surely, Brent watched as others began believing in his dream. Now, Uno Reverser Coasters Park is really shaping up nicely. I just love the landscaping he's doing in this park. This just looks amazing. It's nice seeing this little ghost town come to life with some brighter buildings. It's also fun watching the railroad through this nice landscape. And yeah, I think these buildings that Uno Reverser Coaster put down in this park are just simply amazing. So yeah, what can I say? Great work. Alright, and our final story is from Seclar. Tempest Bay has attracted a good amount of guests in the new world. More was needed, so the guests had some things to do. Due to the warm climate, a water ride was needed. Seclar thought that a river rapids was a good option. Another thing that was asked by the guests was a way to have a view of the island, so a lift was built on a nearby hill. This was enough for now. Let's see how these additions fare with the guests to see what can be added in the next season. Alright, I think Seclar made some nice additions to this park. I quite like this tower, although it is a little bit clunky on the top. Probably you can move the entrance and exit maybe inside this this platform, or maybe do something there with invisible elements. And then you can probably make it a little bit more slender on the top, maybe even a little bit circular. I think that might look pretty nice. Yeah, I quite like the additions to the park. I think this river rapids ride here looks quite nice, and the coaster, I think for a junior coaster, this also looks pretty nice. You may want to play a bit with land textures under it, and I think you may want to play a bit with land textures in the park in general, especially this land shape here. You probably want it to be a little bit less square. I think that would definitely improve the look of the land. I do quite like this foliage here. Maybe a little bit more of this throughout the park would look quite nice. Alright, those were all the stories for the second stage of the second season of our Timeline Park Contest. Some players, including myself, actually dropped out, but some other players actually joined in the stage, so that's always exciting to see. Anyway, yeah, I hope for a lot of entries in stage 3 as well. And I think it will be really nice to watch all these parks develop. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you liked it, please consider giving it a like. These videos take quite a lot of time to make, so getting a lot of likes is always a nice motivation for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.